A thunderstorm was raging that night. The ragdoll cat I'd adopted suddenly became a person. At first, I thought I'd been blessed with some kind of real-life anime girl. But I quickly realized she had zero grasp of human morality. Her snow-white cat ears twitched. Sapphire blue eyes locked onto me. As her tail coiled around my wrist, she kept repeating one word in a soft, sweet voice. Mate. And when her possessiveness finally boiled over, she bit into my neck, leaving a trail of blood, then tied my hands and feet with strips of cloth. Leo belongs to Snowball. Only Snowball. Be a bad boy and I'll rip out your throat. My name is Leo Miller, and I'm about as average as they come. I'm a 9-to-5 guy stuck in the daily grind of work, home, repeat. My only comfort in this monotonous life is the ragdoll cat I have at home. Snowball. I adopted her from a shelter a year ago. She had been just a scrawny little thing back then, but now she's a magnificent fluffball with a glossy coat and, most importantly, a pair of sapphire blue eyes that could melt the exhaustion right out of me. But all of that shattered on a dark and stormy night. I'd been stuck at the office pulling overtime, and by the time I dragged my lead-heavy legs home, it was almost midnight. The moment I opened the door, I heard a strange sound from the living room, like something being dragged across the hardwood floor. Snowball, I called out tentatively. Usually she'd be twining around my ankles by now, purring up a storm. Silence. My stomach dropped. I flipped on the living room lights. In the next second I froze, the blood in my veins turning to ice. My work shirt and pants were strewn across the floor. And curled up next to the sofa was a woman. No, that wasn't right. It was a girl. A girl with cat ears and a tail. She had long snow-white hair and skin so pale it was almost translucent. She was wearing nothing but one of my oversized band t-shirts. Her slender legs crossed casually on the rug. But the most stunning features were the fluffy white cat ears twitching on top of her head and the matching tail swishing restlessly behind her. Who are you? My voice trembled. Reflexively, I grabbed the broom leaning against the door, my heart hammering against my ribs. How did you get into my apartment? The girl slowly lifted her head. When I saw her face, the broom slipped from my hand and clattered to the floor. That face, it was a human version of Snowball. Especially the eyes. They were the exact same sapphire blue as my cat's. And right now they were staring at me wide, with a mixture of confusion and something else. Something wild. Meow, she murmured, a soft, cat-like sound. Then she slowly stood up. I realized then how petite she was. Maybe 16 or 17. The t-shirt hung on her like a dress, barely covering her, revealing legs so thin they looked like they might snap. Snowball, I whispered. My voice choked with disbelief. Hearing the name, her eyes lit up. Her tail shot straight into the air with excitement. She padded toward me, her movements as light and silent as the wind. As she got closer, a familiar sweet scent hit me. The smell of the premium kitten chow I fed her every day. My brain blue-screened. 1,000 thoughts crashed into each other. What the hell was happening? My cat had turned into a person. Before I could process it, the girl was standing right in front of me. She tilted her head up, rubbing her nose against my chest as if confirming my scent. Then she reached out with delicate fingers and tugged on the hem of my shirt, her eyes full of dependence. Master, she spoke. Her voice was as soft as cotton candy, laced with sleepy warmth. Hungry. I was completely and utterly screwed. The next few days felt like a fever dream. I tried to communicate with her and discovered that while her body was human, her mind was still a cat's. She could only manage simple words, expressing most things with looks and gestures. I dug out some old clothes for her and bought her a new toothbrush and toiletries. She seemed to have no clue about human life. She didn't know how to use a toilet, let alone basic things like eating with utensils. I had no choice but to teach her everything, one step at a time, like I was raising a toddler. Watching her clumsily handle a spoon, spilling mac and cheese all over herself, I felt a bizarre, almost fatherly sense of responsibility. But on the 5th night, things started to spiral out of control. I had just gotten out of the shower when I found her crouched by my bed, holding the underwear I'd just taken off. She was sniffing it, her tail wagging excitedly from side to side. "Hey, what are you doing?" I lunged forward, snatching the underwear away, my face burning. She flinched, startled by my sudden movement. Her lip trembled and her eyes instantly welled up. "Master smells good. You can't just sniff those." I tossed them into the laundry hamper and turned to get her a blanket since she was only in a thin nightgown. But the moment I turned, a strong hand clamped around my wrist. I whipped my head around. She was staring at me, her sapphire eyes glowing with a strange light, a complete departure from her usual gentle demeanor. "Master." Her voice was deeper now, husky in a way I'd never heard before. "Want." "Want what?" Her stare made my skin crawl. I tried to pull my hand away, but her grip was like iron. She didn't answer. She just lowered her head, nuzzling her nose against my arm. Then she opened her mouth and sank her sharp teeth lightly into my skin. Hiss! I sucked in a sharp breath, not from pain, but from the electric tingle shooting up my arm. Master's scent. So good. She looked up, her gaze hazy, almost drunk. "Want more?" Before I could react, she yanked me off balance, and I fell backward onto the bed. I hit the mattress with a soft thud. She was on top of me in a flash, straddling my hips, her soft body pressing down on mine. "What are you? Get off me!" I panicked, pushing at her shoulders, trying to shove her away, but she clung to me like an octopus, her cat ears perked with excitement, her tail coiling around my calf. "Master mate," she whispered into my ear, her breath warm and sweet. But the word she used made my blood run cold. "Are you crazy? I'm your owner, not your." My words were cut off as her lips crashed onto mine. It was a kiss that tasted of sweet milk but felt like a hostile takeover. Her tongue pried my lips apart, exploring my mouth with undeniable, demanding force. My mind was chaos. Every rational thought screamed at me to push her away, but my body felt bewitched, unable to move. Her body was soft and warm. Her unique milky sent an assault on my senses. Just as I was about to lose myself, she broke the kiss and trailed down my neck, her sharp teeth nibbling at my skin, leaving a trail of raw red marks. "Don't, Snowball. Stop." I managed to gasp, my voice trembling in a way I didn't recognize. She either didn't hear me or didn't care. Her hands were already in my waistband. The cool touch of her fingertips against my skin sent a shiver through me. I grabbed her wrists, trying to pull her away with all my strength. "Let go." I growled, my voice a mix of anger and desperate panic I couldn't hide. My shout seemed to startle her. She froze, lifting her head to look at me. Her sapphire eyes brimmed with tears, her tail drooping sadly. "Master doesn't like it?" she asked, her voice cracking. "Snowball just want to be with Master forever and ever." Seeing her like that, my resolve crumbled. She was, after all, the cat I cherished. Maybe she just didn't understand human rules. She didn't know what this meant. "Snowball, listen to me," I said, softening my tone, trying to sound gentle. "We can't do this. You're—" Before I could finish, she lunged, sinking her teeth deep into the side of my neck. "Ah!" The sharp, sudden pain made me cry out. She pulled back, her eyes flashing with a feral kind of possessiveness. "Master is mine. Only mine," she snarled, like an animal whose territory had been invaded. "If Master isn't a good boy, Snowball will bite through his throat and keep him with me forever." The sudden violence in her voice, and the madness in her eyes, terrified me. This wasn't the sweet Snowball I knew. Her gaze burned with a wild, obsessive mania. "You—" I started to speak, but my body felt unbearably heavy. My eyelids dragged like lead. "Go to sleep, Master," she purred, gently licking the wound on my neck. Her voice turned soft again, sweet and coaxing. "When you wake up, you'll be with Snowball forever." In the last fading moment of consciousness, I saw her tail swaying behind her. Excited, restless, like a viper waiting for its prey to fall. When I woke again, it was noon the next day. Sunlight streamed through the blinds, striping the floor with pale gold. I was tied to the bed. My wrists and ankles were bound with strips of fabric. Soft, not tight enough to hurt, but strong enough to keep me still. Snowball sat on the rug by the bed. calmly brushing her long white hair. Hearing me stir, she looked up with a bright smile. Master's awake. She hopped up and bounced onto the bed, leaning close. Hungry. Snowball made breakfast for Master. A chill ran down my spine at her innocent tone. Last night hadn't been a dream. My cat had turned into a dangerously obsessed girl who now saw me as her property. Snowball, untie me, I said, keeping my voice calm. No, she pouted, shaking her head, tail flicking in annoyance. If I untie you, Master will run away. Snowball doesn't want Master to leave. I'm not going to run, I said, breathing deep, trying to reason with her. I'm your owner. Why would I leave you? Really? Her eyes lit up, uncertain. Really? I forced a smile. So, can you untie me, please? This is really uncomfortable. She tilted her head, thought for a moment, then shook it again. No. Master lied to Snowball before. Last time Master said he'd take Snowball to the park, but he went to work instead. I froze. That was last week. I'd promised to take her, as a cat, to the park on Saturday, but my boss had called me in for an emergency. I had broken my promise. At the time, she'd only meowed sadly. I never imagined she'd hold a grudge. That was a special situation. There are no special situations, she snapped, her eyes going manic again. Master just wants to leave Snowball. Does Master hate Snowball now? I don't. Then why won't you mate with Snowball? She cut me off, her eyes boring into mine. All the other kitties get close to their masters like this. Snowball wants to be closer to Master too. I was at a loss. How could I explain human ethics to a girl whose mind still worked like a cat's? We are not. Yes, we are, she shot back. Snowball is just like Master now. I have hands and feet. Snowball can be with Master like a human. As she spoke, she tugged at her oversized t-shirt, letting it fall to the floor. Her pale, slender body was suddenly bare. My eyes went wide. I snapped them shut. What are you doing? Put your clothes back on. Does Master not like to look? Her voice wavered with hurt. Is Snowball's body not pretty? It's not about being pretty. My face burned hot. My heart thundered. You're a girl. You can't just take your clothes off in front of people. It's a rule. What's a rule? She asked curiously. Is it more important than Master? I didn't get to finish. She yanked away the comforter. A moment later, her soft body pressed against mine. If Master doesn't want to look, then Snowball will just kiss Master. Her whisper was warm against my ear. Her skin pressed against mine. My resolve shattered. My eyes shot open just as she leaned down to kiss me. Get away from me. I roared, thrashing with all my strength. The bed frame groaned. The ties cut into my wrists. But she pressed stubbornly closer. Just before her lips met mine, there came a knock. Knock, knock, knock. Leo, you home? It's Mrs. Gable from next door. You didn't go to work yesterday, did you? An Amazon package for you got left with me, so I thought I'd bring it over. Mrs. Gable's voice boomed like thunder. Snowball froze, ears and tail standing on end, eyes darting toward the door like a startled cat. Don't make a sound, she hissed at me, her gaze sharp with suspicion. Don't let anyone in. Master belongs to Snowball. An idea sparked. My chance. Mrs. Gable, I'm here. I called. I'm not feeling well, just lying in bed. Could you leave the package by the door? Thanks so much. Oh, of course, honey. Concern laced her voice. Are you okay? Do you need me to call a doctor? No, I said quickly. Just a cold. I'll be fine with some rest. Thanks again. All right then. You take care. Holler if you need anything. Her footsteps faded. Snowball exhaled in relief, but then turned to me with a dark, accusing glare. Why did Master call to her? Her voice dropped, cold as ice. Does Master want someone to take Snowball away? No, I said quickly. It was just a package. Nothing else. I don't believe you. She lunged. Her hands clamped around my throat, fury blazing in her eyes. Master wants to leave me. I knew it. The world narrowed. My lungs screamed for air. Black spots danced before my eyes. Then, suddenly, she released me. Cough, cough, cough. I gasped, choking, gulping air like water. Snowball crouched by the bed, hugging her knees, shoulders shaking with sobs. Why? Why doesn't Master understand? She choked. Snowball just wants to be with Master forever. Why won't you let me? Seeing her so broken and terrifying at once twisted me inside. Hate, pity, fear, guilt. Maybe from the moment she turned human, this was inevitable. Our simple owner-pet relationship was gone forever. Snowball, I said, steadying my breath. Untie me first. We need to talk. Okay. She looked up with tear-streaked cheeks. Master won't lie to me. I won't lie. I nodded. She hesitated, then slowly untied the strips binding my wrists, but left my ankles tied. Can't untie the feet, she whispered. What if Master still tries to run? I sighed. Fine. Hands are better than nothing. I flexed my wrists, the blood tingling back into them, and started to speak, when she suddenly knelt on the bed and tugged at my sweatpants. What are you doing? I yelled, shoving her hands away. Master and Snowball didn't mate yesterday, she said, looking up with hurt and stubbornness mingling in her eyes. We'll do it now. No, my temper flared. Snowball, please, just listen to me. We're not animals. We can't just. But Snowball wants to have babies for Master, she interrupted. Her eyes shone with a strange, dreamy light, the same look I'd seen in the neighbor's calico cat. I'll have lots and lots of kittens for Master, so Master won't be lonely anymore. Her words left me stunned, speechless. Her logic was completely feline. Reasoning with her was like talking to a wall. I don't need kids, I said, drawing a long breath to steady myself. And besides, we can't have kids. Why? She asked, genuinely puzzled. Is Snowball not pretty enough? No, I said, a headache already pounding at my temples. It's nothing to do with being pretty. Then Master doesn't like Snowball anymore. She suddenly shrieked, tears brimming. Master must have another cat outside. Is it that orange cat from downstairs? I knew he looked at Master funny. I had to fight the urge to laugh hysterically. The orange cat downstairs was a Tom I'd maybe seen twice. No, I don't have another cat, I explained patiently. Then why won't Master mate with Snowball? She was back to the same question, her gaze fixed, unyielding. I was out of options. I couldn't exactly give her a biology lesson. I'm really tired today, I said finally, grasping for an excuse. Then we'll do it when Master isn't tired, she replied instantly. A sweet smile returned to her face as if the earlier outburst had been a hallucination. She lay back down, curling beside me, resting her head on my chest like she used to. Her tail wrapped around my waist. Master's heartbeat sounds nice, she murmured, closing her eyes, a contented smile softening her lips. Her warm breath, still faintly scented of milk, drifted across my collarbone. I lay there stiff, feeling her tail tighten around me from time to time like an inescapable shackle. The afternoon sun slanted through the blinds, painting the room in gold. From the living room, the tick-tock of the wall clock beat against my nerves like a hammer. Master, I'm hungry, Snowball said, looking up at me, her sapphire eyes bright. The tip of her tail brushed against the back of my hand. I realized I hadn't eaten all day. My stomach was an aching hollow pit. Okay, let me go. I'll make dinner. I tried to move, but the ties around my ankles cut into me. Snowball wrinkled her nose, reluctant, but finally nodded. Master can't run away, or Snowball will get angry. With that, she slowly untied my ankles. The instant I was free, I had to resist the overwhelming urge to bolt. But one glance at her watchful eyes told me it would be a mistake. She was too volatile. Confrontation would only end badly. I swung my legs over the side of the bed. My body ached, and I nearly collapsed as my feet hit the floor. Last night's struggle and today's terror had drained me completely. Snowball jumped down instantly, steadying me, her face etched with worry. "Master, are you okay? Did Snowball hurt you?" Looking at her concern, my heart twisted. Her obsession was terrifying, but her worry was real. "I'm fine," I said, gently pulling away, forcing my voice even. "I'm just going to make some food." The kitchen was a disaster. Flour dusted every surface. Eggshells littered the floor. The fridge stood wide open, a milk carton empty and tipped on its side. I sighed and began cleaning up. Snowball trailed behind me like a guilty child, her ears drooping, her tail brushing against my leg. "I'm sorry, Master," she mumbled. Snowball tried to make breakfast, but I messed it up. I glanced back. She stared up at me, her eyes full of remorse. My heart softened. "It's okay," I said, stroking her head. My fingers brushed her furry ears and she shivered. "Just don't mess with the stove next time. It's dangerous." "Okay." She nodded hard, her face breaking into a wide smile, her tail wagging happily. Watching how easily she shifted to joy, I felt disoriented. If only she could stay this sweet. I made 2 bowls of box mac and cheese, pushing one toward her. She mimicked me with a fork but still managed to spill noodles down her shirt. "Slow down. No one's going to steal it," I said, sighing as I wiped cheese from the corner of her mouth. She smiled, then leaned in and gave me a quick peck on the cheek. Loud, sticky with cheese. I froze, my face instantly flushing. "Master's food is yummy," she said, licking her lips, her eyes crinkling into happy crescents. "Snowball likes Master the best." Looking at her innocent expression, something in me shifted. Maybe I could learn to live with this. After we ate, I was about to wash the dishes when my phone rang. Sarah from work. Sarah was the new intern. Bright, cheerful, cute. Lately she'd found excuses to talk to me. I suspected she was interested. "Leo, why weren't you at work today? Mr. Thompson was asking about you." Sarah's bubbly voice chirped through the line. My stomach clenched. I'd been so caught up with Snowball I'd forgotten to call in sick. "Oh hey, I'm feeling a little under the weather. I forgot to call him. Thanks for the heads up, Sarah." "No problem." Her voice brightened even more. "Well, you get some rest, okay? Do you want me to swing by after work? I could bring you some chicken noodle soup or something." I was about to say no when a hand gripped my wrist. Snowball had crept up beside me. Her sapphire eyes narrowed with suspicion, ears pinned flat like a cat ready to pounce. "Who?" She mouthed silently, her growl low and dangerous. My heart jumped. I covered the phone. Shot her a glare. "No, that's okay. I'm fine. Just need to sleep it off," I said into the phone as casually as I could. "Oh, okay." Sarah sounded disappointed. "Well, make sure you take something for it. Call me if you need anything." "Okay, will do. Thanks, Sarah." I hung up, let out a long breath, then turned to face Snowball. Her expression was so cold it could freeze fire. All traces of sweetness were gone. "Who is she?" she demanded, every word clipped, sharp. Her tail stood straight, like a blade drawn from its sheath. "Just a coworker," I explained, dread creeping over me. "A coworker?" She raised an eyebrow, a cold smirk tugging at her lips. "Do coworkers use that sweet little voice to talk to you? Do coworkers offer to come over to your apartment?" Her interrogation was sharp, cutting me off guard. "Snowball, that's none of your business," I said, my brow furrowing, tone turning stern. "Why isn't it my business?" She shrieked suddenly, her eyes flooding with tears. "Master is mine. Only mine. No one is allowed to take you away from me." "You're being irrational," I snapped, turning for the balcony to get some air. I'd barely taken 2 steps when she yanked my wrist, her grip iron strong. "Don't you go," she screamed, her eyes blazing with possessive fury. "Are you going to see that woman? I forbid it. Let go of me." I tried to wrench free, but she pulled me back, making me stumble. Then she threw herself against me, arms wrapping my waist from behind, face buried in my back, sobbing uncontrollably. "Stop, Master. Don't leave me. Don't go to someone else. Snowball will be good. You can do whatever you want. Please, just don't go." Her cries cut deep, gut-wrenching, primal, a blunt knife twisting in my chest. I stood frozen, emotions crashing together. Anger, helplessness, aching pity. "I'm not going anywhere," I sighed, my voice softening despite myself. "I'll stay right here with you, okay?" Her sobs slowed, but she clung to me like I might vanish. "Really?" she whimpered, voice thick with doubt. "Really?" I patted her back gently. "I'm just going to text my boss, and then we can watch cartoons. How does that sound?" She finally let go, slow and hesitant. She looked up, face streaked with tears, eyes swollen and red. She looked utterly pathetic. "Okay." She nodded, standing meekly aside while I texted my boss. After I sent the message, I turned to grab her a tissue. But I froze. The look on her face was bizarre. It was a cocktail of dependence, fear, and calculation. My stomach lurched. Before I could say anything, she launched herself into my arms, stood on her tiptoes, and kissed me. This kiss was different. It tasted of salty tears and a desperate, reckless finality. Her tongue moved frantically in my mouth, as if she was trying to consume me whole. I was breathless, trying to push her away when I felt her hands slide down my back, past my waist, and close around the most vulnerable part of me. "Njich." A strangled gasp escaped my lips as all the blood in my body rushed to my head. Her hand was cold, her grip unyielding. I could feel her fingers trembling, her whole body tense. "Snowball, what the hell are you doing? Let go." I shoved her away, my voice filled with shock and rage. She stumbled backward and fell to the floor. When she looked up, the tears were gone, replaced by a wild, terrifying determination. "Master is mine," she said, her voice hoarse but firm. "No one can take him away. I'm going to make Master completely mine, so he can never ever leave me." With that, she sprang up like a panther and tackled me to the ground. This time she was unbelievably strong. I couldn't fight back. Her hands pinned my shoulders to the floor, her knee pressing into my stomach, immobilizing me. "Snowball, snap out of it." I yelled, trying to break through to her, but it was like she couldn't hear me. She just stared down at me with those sapphire eyes, a wildfire blazing within them. She lowered her head and began kissing me again, a frenzied trail from my lips, down my neck, across my chest, leaving a constellation of bites and red marks. Her hands were busy, expertly unbuckling my belt. "No, Snowball. Don't do this," I begged, a raw fear I didn't recognize in my own voice. She paused, looking down at me. For a fleeting second, a flicker of hesitation crossed her face, but it was instantly swallowed by madness. "Don't blame me, Master." Her voice trembled, but her resolve was absolute. "I'm just so scared of losing you." Then she lowered her head. I couldn't help but gasp. In that moment, my sanity shattered. Her movements were clumsy and inexperienced, but driven by a reckless, all-consuming obsession. I could feel the scrape of her teeth, hear her ragged, desperate breaths. "No, stop," I managed to force out the words, but she ignored me, working even more fervently to please me. The light outside faded, and the room grew dark. I don't know how much time passed. My mind went fuzzy, my body felt drained of all life, limp and useless. She finally stopped, lifting her head to look at me, a gleam of moisture at the corner of her lips. In the dim light, her sapphire eyes shone with a triumphant alien glow. "Now, Master belongs to Snowball," she whispered, her voice laced with satisfaction and a faint underlying exhaustion. "He'll never, ever leave me." She curled up beside me like a lazy cat, her tail wrapping gently around my leg. I stared blankly at the ceiling, my mind a hollow void. The physical exhaustion and mental violation crashed over me, and I felt the stinging urge to cry. In the darkness, I could hear her steady breathing, feel the occasional twitch of her tail. After a long while, she stirred, lifting her head to press a soft kiss to my chest. "Master, please don't be mad, okay?" Her voice was a careful, tentative plea. Snowball will be good from now on. I'll never make Master angry again. I didn't answer. I just closed my eyes as a single hot tear slid down my temple. The next morning, I woke to the harsh glare of sunlight. My entire body felt like it had been put through a meat grinder. My back and legs ached with a deep, throbbing pain. The space beside me was empty. Snowball was gone. I struggled to sit up, noticing the comforter was tucked around me. My pants had been put back on. The apartment was silent except for the chirping of birds outside. I sat there for a moment, a storm of emotions churning inside me. Last night felt like a surreal nightmare, but the bruises on my skin and the profound ache in my bones were undeniable proof that it had all been real. I took a deep breath, swung my legs out of bed, and nearly crumpled to the floor. Just then, the bedroom door opened. Snowball walked in carrying a tray with a glass of milk and a plate of toast. She was wearing the new sundress I bought her, the white lace making her look almost angelic, if you ignored the possessive fire still burning in her eyes. Master's awake. She smiled sweetly and trotted over, placing the tray on the nightstand. Snowball made breakfast. I just looked at her, saying nothing. My coldness seemed to reach her. Her smile faded and her ears drooped. Master, still angry? She asked quietly, her voice full of hurt. I'm sorry. Snowball was bad yesterday. But I was just so scared. Don't. I just want to be alone. I cut her off, my voice raw. Her eyes instantly turned red. Tears welling up. Master, don't ignore me. She reached for my hand, but I pulled it away. Her hand froze in midair, her face a mask of shock and panic. Master, she choked out, a tear finally escaping and rolling down her cheek. Are you going to make me leave? Seeing her cry like that, a part of me wavered, but the memory of last night crushed that flicker of sympathy. Snowball. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my voice steady. We can't go on like this. You have to understand. I'm a person and you're. I'm a person too, she retorted, her voice cracking. I'm just like Master now. Why can't we be like other couples? We're not a couple. I raised my voice. You're my cat. You were then and you are. I still am, she screamed, a crazed light flashing in her eyes. I'm Master's cat, so Master has to belong to me. Only me. She threw herself at me, burying her face in my chest, wailing. I don't want Master to hate me. I won't let you throw me away. If you do, I'll die right here in front of you. Her cries were shrill and desperate, a knife twisting in my heart. I stood there rigid, completely at a loss. And then my phone rang. It was Sarah again. Snowball's crying stopped instantly. She snapped her head up, her eyes narrowing with feral hostility. Is it that woman again? She hissed. I didn't answer. I just tried to push her away to get my phone, but her grip tightened, her nails digging into my skin. Don't answer it, she snarled. You're not allowed to talk to her. The ringtone blared on, stubbornly filling the quiet room. Snowball grew more agitated, her breathing ragged. What does she want? She shrieked, her eyes bloodshot. Is she trying to steal my master? I'll kill her. I'll kill her. She suddenly let go of me and bolted for the front door. Snowball, what are you doing? I scrambled after her, horrified. She fumbled with the deadbolt, her hands shaking too much with rage to work the lock. Let me go. I'm going to kill her. She screamed, throwing her body against the door. Calm down, Snowball. I grabbed her from behind, pulling her back. She thrashed in my arms like a cornered animal. Let me go. I'll kill her. She wants to take my master. I'll kill her. Her nails raked down my arm, drawing blood. But I didn't dare let go, terrified of what she might do. The ringing finally stopped. Snowball's struggling weakened, and she went limp in my arms, collapsing into hysterical sobs. So, Master, don't leave me. Please. Her voice was muffled and pathetic. You're all I have. If you don't want me, there's no reason for me to be alive. I held her, feeling completely drained. The cuts on my arm burned, but the ache in my chest was worse. What was I supposed to do? My phone screen lit up. A text from Sarah. "Leo, are you okay? You're not picking up. I was worried, so I'm downstairs. Is it a bad time to drop this off?" My blood ran cold. Sarah was here. And in my arms. Snowball had clearly seen the message on the screen. Her crying stopped. Her body went rigid. Then she slowly lifted her head, her sapphire blue eyes glittering with a coldness I had never seen before. Pure, unadulterated, murderous intent. "She's here." Snowball's voice came out as a low, guttural whisper, almost a demonic growl. She dared to come. She shoved me away, her gaze locked on the front door. Her ears were pinned flat, her tail stiff as a spear. She looked like a predator, poised to strike. "Snowball, listen to me. You go back to the room. I'll go down, talk to her, and send her away." My voice shook as I pleaded, but she didn't hear me. She was already stepping toward the door, one slow, deliberate stride at a time. "Anyone who tries to take my master has to pay the price." Her voice dropped lower, the killing intent in her eyes deepening with each step. Watching her back, a primal fear shot through me, from the soles of my feet to the crown of my head. I knew this was about to get very, very bad. Snowball's hand gripped the doorknob, knuckles white with force. The faint bump of her body against the door must have carried into the hallway, because Sarah's muffled, confused voice followed. "Leo, are you in there?" That single voice was the match to the gasoline. Snowball's head snapped around to glare at me, her blue irises webbed with red. "You hear that? She dares to say your name." I lunged and grabbed her wrist. Her skin was shockingly cold. "Snowball, this is your last warning. Go to your room." My voice trembled with a mix of fury and fear. She let out a brittle laugh that scraped like glass. "Are you protecting her, master? Like a dog protecting a bone that doesn't even belong to him?" Her tail shot up, every strand standing on end. "Well, I won't allow it." She bent down and sank her teeth into my forearm, harder than ever before. The sharp tang of blood filled my mouth as I cried out. My grip loosened for a split second. Just enough. She twisted the knob and flung the door open. Sunlight poured in, framing Sarah's stunned figure. She stood frozen with a thermos in her hands, staring at me, disheveled, bleeding, and at Snowball wild-eyed, her white hair falling around cat ears and a rigid tail. "Leo, who is?" Sarah's voice quivered. Snowball stepped between us like a territorial wolf. Her fingernails lengthened, sharp tips pressing against Sarah's throat. "Get out," she hissed. "Snowball." I shouted, trying to pull her back, but she threw me off with terrifying strength. I slammed into the wall, vision blurring with black spots. Sarah stood pale, terror in her eyes. The thermos slipped from her hands and crashed to the floor, chicken soup spilling across the hardwood. "I'm sorry. I'm leaving now." She turned, but Snowball seized a fistful of her hair, yanking her backward. Trying to run. Snowball's smile was cruel. Thieves who try to steal what isn't theirs should have their nails pulled out one by one. "Stop it." I snatched the fallen thermos and hurled it toward her. I didn't aim to hit, but the clang was enough. Snowball flinched and released her grip. Sarah scrambled away, her heels clattering down the stairs in frantic rhythm. The door gaped open, cold air drifting past the curtains. Snowball stood in the wreckage, her tail drooping. Then she crumpled to the floor, sobbing. "Master hit me. For someone else." She clawed at her hair, strands of white falling loose. I knew it. "You don't want me anymore." Leaning against the wall, clutching my bleeding arm, I watched her bang her head against the floor until a red welt formed. My last thread of patience snapped. Exhaustion washed over me. "Enough," I said, my voice flat. She froze, looking up sharply, tears streaking her face. "Sarah is my coworker. I have no romantic interest in her." My words came slow, deliberate, dangerously calm. "I'm tired. I don't want to fight with you anymore." I walked over, shut the door, and slid the deadbolt into place. When I turned back, Snowball was still curled on the floor, shoulders shaking. Chicken soup mixed with her tears in a pathetic smear across the hardwood. "Come here." I held out my hand. She hesitated, then crawled over slowly, like a scolded puppy. I led her to the bathroom, dabbing the cut on her forehead with an antiseptic wipe. She winced but didn't pull away. Her tail curled faintly around my wrist. "Master isn't mad anymore," she whispered. "I'm mad," I said, tossing the wipe in the trash. "But I'm madder at myself. Mad I hadn't shut things down with Sarah sooner. Mad I couldn't soothe Snowball's gnawing insecurities. Mad that every time she lost control, part of me excused it, because she was once just a cat. I began bandaging my own arm. Snowball reached out, laid her hand over mine, and licked the edge of the gauze. "When Master got hurt before, Snowball's licks made it better," she said, her voice thick with tears. "Why doesn't it work now?" My chest ached. I pulled her into a hug. Her fuzzy ear brushed my chin, warm and familiar. "Because now I can feel the pain." That night, for the first time, I was the one who reached for her. She curled against me like a frightened animal, tail wrapped tight around my waist as if I'd vanish if she let go. "No more hurting other people. And no more hurting yourself," I murmured, stroking her hair. She nodded, burying deeper into my chest. "And Master isn't allowed to like anyone else." "Okay. And you can't talk to other women." "I have to go to work, Snowball." She gave a small, unhappy meow but didn't argue. The next day at the office, I ran into Sarah in the lobby. Her eyes flicked away the instant she saw me. I walked up to her. "I'm so sorry about yesterday. I hope you're okay." "Leo, that girl was, she?" "She's a distant cousin of mine," I lied. "She has some mental health issues. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again." Sarah just nodded, lips pressing like she wanted to say more, but instead she turned and walked away. I knew then whatever fragile spark might have existed between us was extinguished for good. When I got home, Snowball was perched on the windowsill. The moment she heard the door open, she meowed softly and leapt into my arms, just like she used to as a cat. "Master didn't talk to that woman today, did he?" she asked, eyes shining. "No," I said, scratching behind her ears. I cleared the air with her. "We won't be in contact anymore." Her tail wagged happily. She kissed my cheek. "Master is the best." After that, Snowball calmed, at least in her own way. She no longer tried to stop me from leaving the house, nor glared when I picked up the phone. But her possessiveness lingered, humming beneath the surface. When I went to work, she hid my button-downs and laid out cartoon t-shirts instead. If I was on the phone with a female colleague, she'd sweep her tail across my hand to remind me to hang up. At night, she insisted on using my arm as a pillow, her tail wrapped so tightly around me it was hard to breathe. One night, I came home late to find her sitting in the dark by the door, eyes red, clutching the feathered wand I once used to play with her. "Did Master not want to come home to Snowball?" she asked, clutching the feathered wand. I scooped her up into my arms. Her body was cold. "Of course I did." "But you were gone so long," she mumbled into my neck, her voice trembling. "I thought you ran off with someone else." That night, for the first time, I kissed her. She froze, then answered with clumsy eagerness, her tail wagging so wildly it nearly knocked over the lamp on my nightstand. "Does this mean Master likes Snowball?" she asked breathlessly, her eyes shining like stars. "Yeah," I said, stroking her ear. "I like you a lot." She squealed with delight, did a happy little dance around the room, and then leapt back into my arms, rubbing her head against my chin. "Snowball likes Master the most, too." Our relationship changed after that. She still got jealous if I so much as glanced at a stray cat on the street, and she'd still wrap her tail around my leg if I spoke to a woman for too long. But she was learning to channel her all-consuming obsession into a fierce, protective love. She started trying to cook, though it usually ended in kitchen disasters. She'd have a glass of water waiting for me at just the right temperature when I came home from work. She'd lie beside me while I read, tracing the words on the page with the tip of her tail. Once, when I came down with a fever, I drifted in and out of delirious sleep, vaguely aware of a cool cloth pressed against my forehead. When I opened my eyes, Snowball was beside the bed, her own eyes red with worry. "Does it hurt, Master?" she asked, her voice thick with tears. "Snowball will go buy medicine." I grabbed her hand. "No, don't. I just need to sleep." But she wouldn't listen. She insisted on going. She didn't know her way around, though, and ended up wandering the neighborhood for half an hour before returning with a random assortment of items. A box of Band-Aids, a bag of cat food, and a tube of bright red lipstick. Her nose was red from the cold. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I pulled her under the covers with me to warm her up. "Don't ever run off like that again." But Master was sick. "Having you here is enough." She stared at me for a moment. Then her face broke into a radiant smile. She peppered my face with kisses. Snowball was still the same obsessive, dangerously possessive cat girl, but now she had begun to express it through love, not just fear and violence. She straightened my tie before I left for work, had my slippers waiting at the door when I came home, and brushed my hand with her tail whenever I was upset. She was a bolt of lightning that crashed into my boring life and turned everything upside down. But she also taught me what it truly means to be tethered to someone. Tonight, as she curled around me in bed, I found myself smiling. "What's so funny, Master?" she mumbled sleepily. "Just thinking about what a clingy little cat you are." She snuggled closer, her voice fading into a drowsy murmur. "Purr. Master is a clingy big cat too." Moonlight filtered through the blinds, illuminating her peaceful, sleeping face. I leaned down and kissed her forehead. "Good night, my Snowball." Her tail gave my wrist a gentle squeeze in response.